Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a semi-quickie review of Ghost in the Shell, the 2017 whitewashed American remake of Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, with Scarlett Johansson and some other dudes. Yeah, I saw some of the other previews on other channels that got into this already, including Stone Gremlins. The fact that she does sound a lot like a robot. She's playing a robot, but yeah, was her acting in the other movies less robotic? Not sure. Anyway, so yeah, more or less. But yeah, so is it? It's all right, actually. The movie's somewhat faithful to the manga cartoon and the American dub of the manga cartoon. And it follows the movie follows the talking points of the cartoon, the 1995 cartoon, with it has the hacker bad guy. It has before hacker was a term, actually. It has the jacking into people's minds, ports and things before the Matrix. The cartoon did. The Matrix ripped off Ghost in the Shell, actually, and Johnny Mnemonic also in the same lines. It's cyberpunk, is what it is. I don't know if the Japanese version is trying to be cyberpunk or whether it actually was. That is the genre. It's the same genre as in the 80s Blade Runner. Very similar to Ghost in the Shell was very inspired by the '84 movie Blade Runner. Quite a bit. Yeah. So, but yes, the movie's basically plot elements are similar to the Ghost in the Shell. This woman is created as an android. She's got a human brain. It's very similar to what's in the original. So the ghost is the brain, and the soul somehow they're a thing. Her search for identity doesn't really happen until part 2. They do address that in this one, which is interesting. But that's the part 2. That's also a little bit standalone complex, which was the TV spinoff thing. But not enough of it is standalone complex for it to be a direct reference. They just reference indirectly. The spider tank is in it at the end. That scene is recreated. A lot of scenes. The garbage man that had no real life. Wink. That was actually had been, I guess he's a garbage robot or android or something, and he discovers that his entire life was made up by the agency so that he could be later on as a sleeper agent and try to kill the heroes. That's in there. The diving scene is in there, as well as the descent into the homeless person / robot geisha. They mixed that up, actually. The robot geisha was in the other scene. And then there was a homeless lady who shows up, and they hit her, and then they bring her back to the base because she's like a robot, and that's when she jacks into the hacker guy. When she finds the homeless lady, not when she finds the geisha. That was a different character. But oh well. Anyway, so but they mix some things up. Also, yeah. Also, you could kind of buy the idea that the Japanese might make an American-looking Japanese robot in that society. They kind of establish in the movie and the manga that it's a post-apocalyptic sort of future where one country has all the other countries' technology and is rebuilding society using cybernetic implants and robots and androids and stuff, a la the Cylons and later BSG. But there was an earlier BSG in 1980, so yeah, it's heavily influenced by that too. The 80s BSG. Yes, there was one before the 2000s one. Also, Terminator. Big of the 84 movie Terminator, not the sequel in 91. No, maybe that too a little bit. The guy with the eyes is also Yeah, it's not two different guys. They show his origin because they go back to the prequel, sequel, standalone story, and do that too. Yeah, it's not as bad as the critics are saying it is. It's the Rotten Tomatoes is giving it like a 44 or something. I would say it's over 50%, maybe 60 something. So I would give it a little, about 3 stars. A little, you know, it's not a 5. It's not great. It's not boring though. The other actors are more charismatic than she is, but if she's playing a robot, that's all right, I guess, more or less. Although Data played a robot on Star Trek, and he was clearly more animated. But yeah, I don't think that's a problem with it necessarily. It does a lot of callbacks to the original, and you know the company, the Hiraga, and the other stuff that's going on. Yeah, I pronounced it wrong. And yeah, so it's not a bad movie. I think the Stone Gremlins guys review also addressed that. Said it's not. Yeah, it's fine. It's worth a rental. Later on. Yeah. Yeah, it's. And I wasn't saying that just because Paramount and Disney and whatever. No, it wasn't that. Yeah, and like manga and anime. But it was a faithful adaptation. It's sort of like when the Last Airbender cartoon copied the manga style. Well, that's sort of like this. They copied the manga style. Now, that said, the Last Airbender movie, which went too far that way and made it completely stupid, yeah, that was bad. But that was... Schleiman shouldn't have been asked to direct that movie. Stick to horror movies. Yeah, so... yeah, so that's Ghost in the Shell 2017, pretty much. I mean, I can't really say much more about it other than... I could go into details about it, but it's kind of like the Ghost in the Shell review from earlier from the DVD of the show. It's close enough. The DVD is actually sort of a cult hit. It's really about 60% too, so I guess that's all right then. I mean, it's cool and everything, but a lot of so many other movies have copied it that it seems cliched. Oh yeah, the guy jacking into the guy and whatever, or the chick has a cloaking device. Oh yeah, and the robots and the hacking and all that. Yeah, but they thought of it first. So yeah, it's not cliched. It's just that those things seem that way. Yeah, I mean, well, technically, Blade Runner did it first. Blade Runner was a heavy influence on this film, and then the producers of the original manga. Blade Runner was probably one of the first film noir cyberpunk stories. And there's another one coming out. Yeah, so I guess that's it. Now the previews, we have Stephen King's It, which looks like a retread remake of Stephen King's It, which was a miniseries more than a movie. It was like a 2-parter, I think. I was not all impressed with the original, so having the sequel, it's like, well, all right, fine. I think there's a bit too many jump scares in it, which is the modern audience being startled by Clown Man showing up and whatever, or it. But and yeah, it's just gonna be jump scares. Same thing with Alien Covenant. A lot of jump scares. It looks like they just let Ridley Scott and the others rewrite Prometheus on another planet, because it wasn't LB-243. 233 was in that one. It was LB-241 and the other one. Yeah, they sort of changed the planet around. What doesn't make sense in these alien movies is that if they have hypersleep and stuff, and other ways to contact them and stuff, why do they keep sending colonists to this planet if they're never heard from again? I would think they would stop doing that. Oh well, yeah, this planet's bad. We shouldn't go here. Let's do that. Yeah, let's not do that. Anyway, so, but of course, there's some oddities with the Ghost in the Shell movie. I mean, you have like you can't actually hack into a human brain. If you could, the processing power of the hack would be of so low viability that human brain's way faster than a computer, and it wouldn't work. The connection wouldn't work. And the brain has to have nutrients to survive, so clearly she has some sort of circulatory system or something processing what's going on in the brain. Otherwise, she's just a robot without an engineered brain. But yeah, and there's a doctor lady who turns, and there's a I guess a cyber terrorist guy in it and stuff, and menacing robot dude. The effects looked really cool. Yeah, so yeah, the acting was a little off. That's why it's only 60%. But yeah. That said, even though I own Batman v Superman, the extended cut, I gave that one 50%. I said it was half of a good movie. Same thing here, a little bit over half of the movie. But I would actually watch Ghost in the Shell, the movie, more than I would watch Superman remakes. Oh yeah, and I saw last night the preview for online, the preview for Justice League, and it looks like a gray mess. Like gray, dark, dingy mess with some action going on in the background. It should be lovely when that movie comes out. They're trying so hard to be edgy and dark that the fun of it is completely gone. Like that's not how you do it. Ghost in the Shell movie was very colorful. That's how you do it. So you make it colorful but also how you do it is you do Marvel and you have the jokes make sense. You have the characters make sense. You get charismatic people that know how to act, and you have fun with it. Don't just have them dark and brooding. Like, oh well. Anyway, so Ghost in the Shell remake, the American Ghost in the Shell, I would call it. Yeah, they did. It was all right.